The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Love Talk Show. I'm your host, or half of the host duo, James Marcus, sitting here as usual with my wife.
Hi, everybody. Good night. Good evening. My name is Elena Marquez, like my husband always says, and I'm very, very happy to be back with another very important topic. We're going to talk about something a bit, shall we say,
it's
shameful.
It's something that's becoming
People
more...
are embarrassed to talk about this.
Something that's becoming more and more popular. Not popular, but it's becoming more common. Let's put it like that. If you go back 20, 30, 40 years, this also happened. But we're finding that because of the internet, this happens a lot more. We're talking about love scams. Love scams. People who are duped of a lot of money by meeting someone that they thought were one kind of person, sometimes never meeting that person, just meeting them online. And over the past couple of years, we've had very successful and popular documentaries. We had one called The Tinder Swindler. A man who came from Israel, could have come from anywhere else, from a very, very poor background, and he duped women out of millions.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but certainly hundreds of thousands and millions other people by pretending to be someone that he was not. Now, you look at this with a wide angle lens, you think this may be an isolated incident, but while we were in Asia, Lena, when we served there,
that was very common.
we saw this was almost a daily thing. Almost, certainly weekly, we would speak to people who were victims of this. But we're going to go into the intro of today's program. We'll come back because we're going to talk about how to protect yourself from this and how to recover if you've been a victim of a love scam. How to recover from this. We'll come back after the intro.
Love, hope, connection. It sounds like a modern fairy tale, doesn't it? Meeting someone online, those hearts fluttering with possibilities across screens, until it turns into a nightmare. Tonight, we're tackling a complex but crucial topic: protecting yourself from love scams. So, what exactly is a love scam? Well, it's when someone, usually a stranger you've met online, pretends to be your ideal match, building your trust, expressing affection, and then, when the time is right, they ask you for money, favors, or access to your assets. That whole romance part, that's just the cover. The real targets are your finances and your identity. Before you know it, you've given tens of thousands, sometimes even more, and then they vanish. This isn't just a plot from a movie, it's happening every single day to real people. The numbers are truly striking. The City of London Police reports that over the past year, victims in the UK have lost 94.7 million to romance fraud alone, ranking it among the top 5 reported frauds. It states that last year, romance fraud cost people more than £400 million, and that's only the reported cases. It's a shocking reality. The numbers are shocking, and the human stories behind them are even more so. While both men and women fall victim, we know women tend to lose more money on average when they do. A recent Barclays scam bulletin found that in the UK, the average romance scam claim was £8,900. For women, that's 2.5 times the average for men. Why is this? The City of London Police found that women often engage with suspects for a year or more compared to men. So, what does this look like in reality? Let's take the case of Linda Young. After her divorce, Linda, in her 50s, tried online dating. She met a man through a dating site for people over 50. Over 6 months, he manipulated her, building trust through messages and late-night calls. They bonded over shared interests, but the affection was fake. Eventually, she was manipulated into giving him over £120,000, or Mary, a 58-year-old widow from Somerset seeking companionship. She was scammed by someone calling himself David, who claimed to be in the US Special Services overseas. He spun stories of bank troubles and travel costs, and she sent him over £120,000. These are real people with real lives, whose hearts were broken and bank accounts drained by cold-hearted predators. You might even recognize the name Simon Leviev, also known as the Tinder Swindler, who gained notoriety through the Netflix documentary that exposed how he allegedly conned women out of millions globally by posing as the heir to their diamond fortune. As reported by The Telegraph, the glamorous lifestyle and private jets were all part of the deception, which is a common tactic scammers use to manipulate their victims. Victims like Cecily Felhoy, who was reportedly defrauded of around $250,000, have bravely shared their stories to raise awareness. Now, pause for a moment. Could you be vulnerable to this? What about someone you know? Could they be swept away by the illusion of love, blinded by a scammer, barely aware until the damage is done? How do these fraudsters do it? What tricks and tactics do they use to make us believe them, to lower our guard? And once the relationship is underway, what are the signals that things are turning dangerous? On this show, we're going to pull apart the mechanics of love scams, the red flags, the psychological traps, and the path to recovery. But even more important, we'll explore how you can protect yourself. Stay tuned, because the next few minutes may help you or someone you care about.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Very well. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to play the street interviews for today, because I think when we hear people talk about this, we'll see how much more common it is than what we actually think it is. And maybe the reason why we don't hear about it as much is because of the elements that Elena spoke about earlier, which is the shame.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel embarrassment, shame of talking about it. But let's go to the street interviews. We'll come back to dissect this issue.
Straight from the people, straight to you. The word on the street.
Do you know anyone who has been a victim of an online love scam?
You know what? One of my aunts have before, in the past.
So I did have a friend from Delhi. She was looking for someone, for a partner online for quite some time. He just asked her, let's meet over a coffee and something. And they asked her to pay the bill and stuff. I don't know, it became like a huge thing, and he scammed her a lot of money. He used to ask her always to pay the bills. He never used to return back the calls or anything. He asked her for some money, and I think they just looted off some 50,000 rupees, Indian rupees from her, in saying that I need to pay my college fees and stuff in the name of love.
Yes, I know someone, yeah. But victim depends. It's like in terms of ghosting, or just people disappearing, or people willing to having something more on the first date. And it's something that I personally also experienced, and I had to block that person because it was like pushing and willing too much. And yeah, I just escaped. I mean, I had to more or less run, so.
Do you think only naive people fall for these scams, or does the desperation to find love make many people vulnerable?
Probably because they probably tried every other avenue to date normally, meet people in pubs, clubs and things, and it's probably the last resort, isn't it, going on to online dating, and probably the older ladies even, and they will get scammed because they're a bit naive to it all.
I think because they're not aware that it's a scam, just because they don't get a lot of information on that it's easy to fall for the scam, especially for older ages as well. Getting scammed is something that is really easy to happen to anybody. It doesn't matter which gender you are. Yeah, it's just misinformation that is being spread.
I don't know. I think people go on it with good intentions, and sometimes it's probably the other person maybe on the other side that might be not being as truthful and honest. So it just depends, I guess, on the receiving end who's that person. Maybe checking if they have a verification against their pictures. Maybe could be one indication, or maybe the amount of imagery that is shown. So maybe if there's like different photos that doesn't sort of indicate that this person might be real, they might be AI. So I think it's really being cautious as to looking at the person's profile.
Women fall more for it because they're more emotionally attached with people. Men are they easily fool anybody for money, and I think that's in general.
I think it's nowadays approach in order to find someone, because it's in our society, I think, online dating apps, and so it's a good approach, at least something, but you have to be careful, and I think once you are in, you see these dynamics, and sometimes on the massive number can happen that you have to be honestly just not so lucky maybe.
I think they're lonely and probably desperate and naive. Who would give all their money away to a stranger? Trust in your friends and your whānau, your family. If they're telling you that something's not right, listen to them.
I think it's most likely people who are lonely that they're going to be the most vulnerable to those sort of attacks. People who are lonely, people who are, as you say, chronically online, people who spend their whole day looking for love on the internet. I think, desperate sounds a bit harsh. I believe there's just as many lonely and quote-unquote desperate men and females online. And, even if we say that most of the attackers would be men, they can target both men and women. So I don't think there's a difference.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Well, when we hear people talk about this, we see how much more common it is than what we actually hear about it.
Yeah.
In the intro, there was an example mentioned of a woman from Somerset, I believe, who met a man online who spun her the lie that he was part of the U.S. Special Services, the Army. And they fell in love online, and this person duped her out of £120,000. I'm mentioning this example specifically, Elena, because, in Asia, we dealt with a lot of people who fell in love with the same soldier.
Same soldier.
This is a common thing.
Yeah, it's probably a woman, not even a man, who is sitting by her computer, thinking, how can I get money out of these people?
Mm-hmm.
And there is so much to talk about, but let me see if I can perhaps just say this to begin with. What makes you a good catch? What makes you appealing to these people is when you show too much of your life online. People can tell, they can pick up on how needy you are.
Yeah, it has to be said that the people we interviewed on the street actually said that the perfect victims, because people who fall into this are victims.
Yes, they are.
It takes a lot of courage to come forward and talk about this. But the perfect victim is someone who's looking desperately for love.
Yeah.
And someone said in the street interview something very important. You have to listen to your family. You have to listen to your friends who can see, without being caught up in the whole situation, can see that that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I just mentioned initially here the case of the supposed soldier, because I remember we dealt with a case like this in Asia of a young woman.
More than one,
who gave away her life savings to a man who said he was a soldier. They met online and he wanted to come and meet her, but he was stuck in the middle of battle and the U.S. Army couldn't afford to pay his ticket for him to come and see her. But if she would buy the ticket and pay for the expenses, he would come and they would be together. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can see, if you're listening to this, you don't have an emotional attachment to the situation. Mm-hmm. You can see how not plausible at all this seems like, right? No country, especially the U.S., would leave a soldier stranded in a country and not being able to afford to fly him out of there.
But he has a connection to the internet,
Yeah.
but not access to his bank account.
Yeah.
So look at the
And of course,
contradiction of it.
Of course, we know we are outside of this situation. By the way, we were laughing not because we are mocking, but because just of how unplausible it
Yes,
seems,
yeah.
right? And maybe you're sitting there in your car, you're watching us via our app, and you feel the same. But when a person is looking for love, the person's been hurt several times, they become the perfect candidate to fall into these traps. And that's why one of the things that you have to remember, we always say this to the people we advise and in love therapy. We always say that if it's difficult already to get to know the real someone, the real person, while being in their presence, imagine getting to know someone online, where you don't get to see their face, where the person can sit behind a computer, behind a phone, and tell you all the lies that they want. And no one's going to challenge them on that. So the ideal way to meet someone is in person. And if something sounds fishy, if you're talking to someone online and the person tells you a bunch of stories and it sounds fishy, it sounds too good to be true, it sounds like it's moving too fast, all these things, they are true.
Yeah, but you know, there is something in common from all the cases we've accompanied, we've helped. They all say to their victim, don't tell anybody.
Yes, that's very important.
This is our love story. This is our love story.
It's us against the world. They don't understand us.
They will not understand us. They will want to separate us. So that's already a red light there that you have to be careful. And I know, like you said, this is a very sensitive topic. You know, so maybe, like I said, you're not showing off online, but maybe you show off your house, your routine.
Absolutely.
And people see, oh, she doesn't have a partner. She doesn't look like she has a partner or someone in her life. So let me take advantage of that. And the person is a very nice person, even a professional, and falls for that. This is why it's embarrassing for many people to talk about. They are professionals.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, or a few days ago rather, we did a program here called Fairy Tale Love or something like that.
Hopeless Romantic.
Hopeless Romantic.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you have this mentality of being a hopeless romantic, fairy tale kind of love, without knowing, you become the perfect candidate to fall into this because it's this person who's selling you a story, who's telling you something, how, you know, we're going to be together, we are worlds apart, or sometimes you meet this person in real life. There's also been many cases of people.
Oh, these are extra professionals.
Yes. They're
another level.
Pathological liars.
Yes.
You meet them in real person, but they give you this spiel, this selling spiel that they're in trouble and they'll pay you back and so on.
Investments, there's an investment.
Yeah. And they've done that to others. And if something, again, we go back to what we said, if something feels like it's moving too fast, too good to be true, or there's something fishy, all these three things are true. Don't turn a blind eye to this because you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
The important thing, I want to close here before we go for a song. I want to close on this one point because we're going to come back to talk about how to overcome this. Because maybe you've been hurt by this. But the first thing is to remember that if you are in this situation, if you have a friend who is in this situation, if you will ever perhaps be in the future in a situation like this, and you feel, remember, it's moving too fast, too good to be true, or that there's something fishy going on, all of these three things may be true, or at least one may be true, and it's time for you to pull back.
Or to help the person who is involved.
Yeah.
Because, for example, you are so close to someone, you talk about life, and then suddenly the person doesn't talk to you anymore. She's very withdrawn. What is she up to? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then all she says is she's in love.
You know,
you need to help, as a friend, see what's going on?
We've had quite a few cases where we've dealt with this, especially in Asia, in the 4 years we were there, where when we talk to people about this, they think we are jealous.
Yeah, they're
They
jealous.
think, look,
we
oh,
want to steal her man.
Yeah, you're just jealous because I met this great person, this US soldier, I met this person, whatever. And if you are in that situation and someone tells you something like this, listen, they are not jealous of you. They want to help you. They want to protect you. Like that lady mentioned in the street interviews, listen to your family, listen to your friends, because they have your best interests at heart. And usually people who do this kind of thing where they meet others online to scam them out of money, this is their day job. They are professionals. This is what they do. They're stringing you along together with 2, 3, 5, 10 others. This is better than getting a full-time job. Don't get any ideas, by the way. Don't do this as a full-time job. But this is it. And they are professionals. They know what to say to get the person to trust them, to make them feel loved, to make them feel important. Listen to the real-life stories of those who've been through this. They say, I felt like I was the only woman in the world. I felt special. I felt loved. I felt seen, understood, all these things.
Valued.
That's their modus operandi. That's how they work. That's what they do.
That
Their
happens
job,
to men as well, huh, James?
No, absolutely.
That happens to men too.
Yeah. But their job is to make you feel this because they know that's how they get you to trust them and how they get you to part with your cash.
Yeah, they prey
your
on
money.
the pain of other people.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go to a song and we'll come back, and also a testimony. We'll come back in just a moment to talk now about how to overcome this. We spoke about how to protect yourself, meaning listen to your friends, listen to your family. Also, is it moving too fast? Is it too good to be true? Does it sound fishy? That's your red flag. Get out of there. But when we come back, we're going to talk about how to overcome the pain, the shame of going through something like this.
Ain't no need of worrying what the night is gonna bring. It'll be all over in the morning. Ain't no need of worrying what the night is gonna bring. It'll be all over in the morning. There's a fear of nightfall when darkness comes and covers all the day. Sometimes we feel pain, but there are things that we can change. Just pray. Ain't no need to worry what the night is gonna bring. Don't you worry about it. It'll be all over in the morning. Troubles come and they dip past. Heartaches, they don't last always. Sometimes we feel pain. There are things that we can change. Just pray. Ain't no need to worry what the night is gonna bring. Don't you worry yourself about it. It'll be all over in the morning. It'll be over in the morning. It'll be all over in the morning. I can't. It'll be over in the morning. Just can't.
From the very little that I remember with my family when I was young, I remember that we grew up in a farm. We lived in poverty. Going to school, we didn't even have proper uniforms. We didn't even have, like a packed lunch or anything like that. My dad was with us still. I remember that he was doing odd jobs here and there, but never really something that that you could call a career. So my mom had to be the one to really make that sacrifice to go to a different country to work as a domestic helper, and she would be gone for like 3 months, 6 months to a whole year, and we would just communicate through, back then it's writing letters. My mom realized or found out that my dad was unfaithful to her. When she found that out, they separated. She took us and brought us to live with my auntie. My mom had to sacrifice to be away from us, even to send money to us. She wouldn't even think about herself. She always told us and reminded us, I'm doing this so you can have a better future. A few years later, my mom arranged for us to come to the UK. I thought that from that moment on that as a family we'll be together. Even though we are in the same city, she would still be living somewhere else because she was a full-time carer for someone. I was around 13, 14 years old. I delved into the online world where I found friends online from different countries. That's where I found the sense of belonging, the sense of community, and where I developed an addiction to online gaming. With my classmates, I wouldn't interact with them unless they come to interact with me. And I just couldn't wait to go home, log on online, and then play the games with my online friends. Like a principle that I live by, which was feel the pain, love the pain, which is very, very sad if you think about it. But that's how I just came to embrace whatever is happening in my life, the mess, how my family was broken, how I was inside insecure, isolated. I remember there's an incident in my family where my mom and my brother, they were arguing really bad. One moment she grabbed a knife. She came to me, to my brother, and she was shouting, just kill me now because I'm tired of it. I couldn't imagine from that time how much suffering she was going through. As a single parent as well, providing for 2 boys, it must have been really, really tough. She was depressed. She knew she needed help. One day she was she was in town doing her normal shopping, and a member of the church actually handed her a City News, a newspaper. Realizing how bad the situation is, she started coming to the Universal Church. She also started to invite us. We only came because my mom forced us to go, or because we don't want to argue anymore. Going to the church, we would put our headphones on. We would sit at the back of the church and we fall asleep intentionally. At this point, I'm very much a follower of my brother. Whatever he does, wherever he goes, is where I went. At some point, my brother started attending the youth group of the church. I followed him to go there, and as time passes, I started to also take part in the activities, being in the dramas. And I remember this photo as well. We were just around the city actually evangelizing. Even though still coming to the youth group, I wasn't taking anything seriously.
I actually remember this photo here as well. This was actually taken in the youth group. We were just finishing rehearsal. And I even remember thinking, this guy is not, he's disrespectful. I saw you with the headphones in church. Despite of seeing you like that, I knew that I needed to focus on myself. I had my own internal battles as well, so it was easy for me to see that in someone else, but I had to be able to reflect on myself and see the insecurities that I had, the family issues that I also faced at home as well, with my parents being on the brink of divorce. When I discovered that importance of seeking the Holy Spirit for myself and really fighting for my own salvation, that's when I was able to then look for a relationship.
What really changed for me is when my brother left the church. God spoke to me for the first time. You're gonna keep following your brother for the rest of your life? And it seems like I had a flashback of how my life would be if I just kept following him. That's when the fight began for my spiritual life, for my change. When I go to the services, I started to really listen, and I started to put them into practice. I started to see changes within myself. I started becoming more confident, started interacting with people, talking to people. But I understood that for a real life, a true life transformation to really happen, I need the Holy Spirit. One day I remember that this particular Bible verse was being spoken about in Matthew chapter 13, verse 44, when it says, "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid. And for joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Despite going through the injustice with my family, seeing how my family was, but I understood that before I can even build the blessing for my family, I have to make sure that I have that treasure. One of my weaknesses that really challenged me, where I really had to persevere because of the online addiction. There's so many times that I fell, but God was always there to uplift me, get back up, to fight again. That's what I continued doing. I heard about the Campaign of Faith, and I saw that as an opportunity for me to really receive the Holy Spirit. But the most precious thing that I have was my laptop. That was my world. So when God revealed that to me, I didn't hesitate. So I took that laptop, I sold it, and I surrendered it all on the altar. When I was there, I understood as well that it can't just be the financial sacrifice. It has to be yourself, your old mentality. Even that mentality that I mentioned earlier about, feeling the pain, loving the pain. I had to surrender all of that on the altar. I didn't receive the Holy Spirit then, just at that point. So I continued persevering, and then a year later, that's when I received the Holy Spirit. I have the peace that no one can take, the joy, the happiness that no one can explain. Even though we go through a lot of problems or situation, because we're still in this world, we're still human, it never shakes us anymore. I could see that my family started to improve. My family became more united, more together. I realized that the other areas of my life had to progress as well. I started to invest in my love life, going to the love therapy. I started noticing someone in the church, which is Naomi.
I actually remember when the pastor spoke to me about Lester as well. I remember at first being a bit hesitant, but then the more that I was observing him, the more I could actually see the change. At that time, I had already received the Holy Spirit myself, because I had done what was necessary for me as well to fight for my own spiritual life. So I also felt that I was in a position where I was ready to take the next step as well. Seeing his character, the way he had changed from being the disrespectful person before in the church to someone who was the complete opposite, it really opened my eyes to see a possibility in our relationship. There's this photo here, which is from our first ever love walk. The questions that were in the booklet really helped to guide our relationship at that time. I saw how much more confident he was. Now we've been married for 5 years. We're actually both assistants as well. And it's one of the greatest joys that we have to be able to serve God together as assistants.
I'm so thankful because God brought justice in my life in a way that my family now is in the presence of God. I'm no longer that person who's very isolated, who's very insecure. I was no longer that kind of just in the online world, addicted to that. Our great joy is that we have the assurance of our salvation. That's what the joy of the Holy Spirit is. We don't have the fear of death. We live from faith to faith, saving souls to save others who were in our situation before, to let them know that there's a way out.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
What a powerful real life story from Lester, right? Amazing. Listen, let's talk now about how to overcome if you've been a victim of a love scam. The first thing, I think this is the first thing, is to talk about it with someone.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we don't hear about it enough, but you go into the street and you ask people, do you know someone who's been through this? And everyone says yes.
Oh, that's alarming.
So certainly this is happening a lot. People just are too shameful.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that. But it's important that you talk about it. First of all, with your family, people that care about you, and that you share your experience with others, not necessarily on a platform, but talk to your friends and say, look, this is what I've experienced. No one will feel, or no one will think. I know that sometimes, the devil is the master of creating negative thoughts in people.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil often makes people think, look, if you talk about this, everybody will ridicule you.
Yes.
You'll be the talk of the town. Everyone will mock you. But that's going to be the farthest thing from people's minds. I assure you The people who love you and care for you, nobody will say that you were taken for a ride or they will mock you. What they will do is that they will try to protect you.
Yes.
And often...
And they will advise you to go to the authorities as well to report the crime.
Yes. And often talking about it while you're stuck in that scam will help you to get out of it. So talk to someone. Number 2, don't feel ashamed. I mean, I can't help you not to feel ashamed because I understand why a person who was a victim of this will feel ashamed. But don't feel ashamed. You didn't do anything wrong. You were a victim. The person who did this to you should feel very ashamed, right? So don't feel ashamed. Again, if you've never experienced this, but you've known someone who has, some of the stories that you hear people being victims of sound ridiculous. And you laugh because how could you believe that? But the person who is involved, emotionally attached, it makes perfect sense why they would fall into that trap.
Yes.
And the third, the most important thing, right? So you've spoken to someone, number 1. You've spoken to people who care about you. Number 2, you overcame the feeling of shame because you didn't do anything wrong. You were a victim. But the third thing, how do you beat this? How do you overcome this? Getting the money back or not? You need to put your life back together in the sense you can't let this be the antidote to love, the antidote to trusting someone. How many people say, look, I don't trust any other man. They went through a situation like that, a love scam, and they stopped trusting everybody. Don't let that be you. And that's where the work of the love therapy comes in, Elena.
Absolutely. You learn to forgive yourself. That's, I think, a big one, because people are very hard on themselves. There are things that unfortunately we learn when we go through certain situations. You know, the desire to be happy is genuine, no doubts about that. Whatever your background, but maybe the way you went about it, the way you've let the world know was not the best, and people took advantage. Forgive yourself. And God will give you a new page for you to write a new story. This is something we see over and over and over at the UCKG Help Center, at our church, because we preach a God that is merciful and a God of new beginnings.
Yeah.
And I want this person who is listening to us to experience that. Or maybe you haven't gone through that, but you know someone who did, so you can bring them along to a seminar.
Yeah, overcoming this pain and hurt it takes 2 things. Number 1, we're talking about the third step, but this third step is broken into 2. Number 1, seek God for Him to heal the wounds that you have and for you to be able to trust again. But the second point is learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
Because this is the sad part. We dealt with cases in Asia with people who did not learn. Months later, years later, they fell into the same thing. And then that is already another category because, you know, how do they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Don't let, learn from what you went through, put safeguards in place so that next time you are not in this situation again. Who knows? The safeguard is to look for a person to date in the right place.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I believe the internet is a terrible place to try to find.
Like we know that there may be an exception or 2, or around.
Yes, very important what you said now.
But if you've been a victim, then just go back to the old-fashioned way, which worked perfectly. Well, that's how we met, right? Through mutual friends, and we've been married for a while now. I mean, this is how people used to survive in their love lives back in the day, and that's a foolproof recipe.
Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah, we're not saying, maybe you're saying, are you saying that nobody meets over the internet and is happy? No, I'm not saying that.
No, but if you've been hurt, just keep it safe.
But that is an exception to the rule. Yes. It's always better to get to know the person.
Don't risk it. You've risked quite a lot already.
Exactly. Well, we don't have a lot of time left, only a few minutes, but I would like right now to answer the question of today for Dear Love Talk Show. It's not very complicated. Today we don't need to release the hounds.
Okay.
This is a very open question, very sincere and topical and practical question. Let's go for the question of today.
Real stories, real dilemmas, real solutions. Only on the Dear Love Talk Show.
What are some good questions to ask someone when getting to know them?
Very well. What kind of questions should you ask someone when getting to know them? I think we should answer this by telling you what kind of questions not to ask. Let's talk about irrelevant questions. Irrelevant questions is, what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Mm-hmm.
That's not real. I mean, you can ask. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not going to make or break a relationship. These kind of questions. Oh, what's your favorite fashion accessory to wear?
Mm-hmm.
Again,
these are icebreakers, but not getting to know someone questions.
Yeah. What would you say, Elena, are some good getting to know someone questions?
Well, to begin with, his full name. Or
make sure he's not a love scammer.
That's right. You know, you would be surprised. Well, I'm not, because we deal with so many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's confidential. People come to us. We as a one-to-one, we keep it very, very confidential. But we do learn with this kind of help that we provide people.
Mm-hmm.
We learn of situations that you are like, what? And people move in together not even knowing the life story of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't even know their full name.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this sounds like, oh, there you go again, you're being too critic, too judgmental. No, I'm not.
So full name?
This happens. Full name. So, hey, what do you do for a living? Hello, that's a very easy question, but again,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I have a business. Okay, tell me about your business. Obviously, not as an interview, a job interview, but in a very subtle way, dig deep.
Yeah, and also, you know,
there's many businesses out there, some legal, some not so legal.
Yeah.
You want to know who the person is.
The questions you ask to get to know someone, they don't have to be all in the first. I'm assuming this is not a first date. I'm assuming you're dating someone,
Mm-hmm.
and in the period of dating the person, you ask these questions. And they are, for example, they are first date questions.
Mm-hmm.
And there are questions that are not for a first date. For example, you want to get to know someone, you have to know. You have to ask, rather, do you have any children?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been married before? Something very important, what are your core beliefs in life? Do you believe, are you a Christian? Are you a person who follows God?
How do you want to raise your children?
Exactly. Where do you want to raise your children? And then, of course, at some point, and this again may not be for the first date or even the first month,
Mm-hmm.
but not too far off, you have to know about, for example, the person's financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean, necessarily how much the person makes, but you have to know, does that person have a history of being in debt their whole life? Because you get married to someone, you inherit the person's debt.
You do.
Whether you like it or not.
And his habits. You marry his habits and his addictions.
So I would say, don't worry about making the first date like an interview. The first date is about you, seeing if you like that person, enjoy yourself a little bit, go for a meal.
Ask the easy questions.
Ask
What
the
do you
easy
like
questions.
to eat?
Yeah.
But, just wanted to add something to this answer is that I believe it's very helpful to, every time you meet, just ask one question.
Mm-hmm.
Before you leave to meet the person, decide, okay, I'm going to find out about his finances.
Mm-hmm.
And his belief system when it comes to managing his money and everything, and his principles to do with money. So you already know that you're going to have a long discussion in a very casual, wise way. The next time you want to talk about family values, I think it makes it light and thorough. Keep the word in mind, thorough.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So that's my
and
last...
also, there are things that make or break a marriage. That's what you need to focus on.
Yeah.
Make a list. What are the main things that make or break a marriage? I'll tell you what the first one is money.
Yes.
The first reason why most couples get divorced is money. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Money and unfaithfulness. So these are the things you need to find out. And of course, it takes time. You don't get to know someone over a month, right? Imagine.
So move slowly.
Yeah, we spoke about people who are deceived in love scams. A lot of times it's because things move too fast. So take your time. Don't overcommit to the person without really feeling like you know them. Okay? So questions like, what's your favorite sandwich? Right? That's not going to make your or break your marriage. Do you like a curry? Do you like curry? Do you like Jamaican food? I mean, that's neither here nor there. What if they don't like Jamaican food? Well, you like it, then you eat it, and they don't.
Yeah. Something I think would be important is if the person is into healthy eating. Obviously, you want your partner to live long, to have the same habits so that you don't clash too much, because that will be unpractical for you to marry someone who doesn't like what you like in a more serious way. But other than that, you can adjust. You eat this, I'll eat that, and we are fine.
Stick to what matters.
Exactly.
Okay? If you start seeing that the person has a second Facebook account, a second Instagram account.
Oh, 2 phones.
2 phones. That should set alarm bells ringing.
Absolutely.
Okay? I hope that helped. In fact, if you want to know how to date in a way that is constructive, that's why we have the Love Therapy seminars on Thursday. You can come and join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'll be here available with Elena from 7 p.m. for advice. If you want to book an appointment, you can call our helpline.
Yeah, even during the day, if there's anything urgent or something, we can make it work.
Call the helpline 020-7686-6000, or you can send us a WhatsApp message 020-7686-6010. And it will be a pleasure to talk to you and to have you there in the seminars. I believe it's really going to help you.
Absolutely.
We're going to end the program here. We'll leave you with another song, and we'll come back tomorrow at the same time, 10 p.m. Remember, from Monday to Friday, every night, full of energy. I know you're winding down to go to sleep perhaps, but we are always energetic when we come to do this program. We'll be here with you.
Absolutely.
Until tomorrow, God bless you. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus. My head and my heart never truly align when I think of tomorrow. Even when I find it hard to see a way, when all I feel is fear and pain, I'll look to you and I'll call your name, Jesus. You come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. You come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. Oh, yeah. It's so easy to put all my faith in Jesus when everything is sweet like honey. What if the real miracle that I need is found in the waiting? Even when I find it hard to see a way, when all I feel is fear and pain, yeah, I'll look to you and I'll call your name, Jesus. Oh, yeah. You come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. Whoa, yeah. You come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. You never fail me. For if the birds do fly, tell me why should I be worried? Why should I be afraid? You will supply all that I need. Yes, you will. Oh, so if the birds do fly, tell me why should I be worried? Why should I be afraid? Lord, you will supply all that I need. Yes, you will. You come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. Yeah, you come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. Yeah, yeah, you come through for me. Yes, I believe in you, my provider. Oh, you take care of me. Yes, I believe in you. Yes, I do, my provider.
A marriage where both cannot understand each other. Time has passed and you are tired. It seems that the other does not change no matter how much you talk, shout, or nag them. Nothing works. What else can be done when the other does not want help? Can anything be done to influence the other person? How can you save your marriage? Come and learn how to fight the right way and transform your marriage. This Thursday at the Love Therapy at 8 p.m. Available in London only at the Cathedral of Miracles, 232 Seven Sisters Road, Finsbury Park, London N4 3NX. The seminars are broadcast live to our branches outside of London. For the addresses of these locations, visit uckg.org/addresses. For more information and to keep up to date with any special events, visit and follow our Instagram page at Love Therapy UK.
That wraps up the Love Talk Show. Till tomorrow.